I get people coming in and, does this not, and I never talk bad about a previous hairdresser, ever. Even though in my head I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what happened to you? You know what I mean?
Hi everyone, it's Amy Valdivia, and this is the Just Ask Upland Podcast, where we're celebrating everything business in our Upland community. That's right. Did I tell you before? I'm going to tell you again. We are the best chamber in the Inland Valley. We were voted that, and we are celebrating all of our business owners, members, and today I have an OG fella, Mr. Frank Familari from HQ, the headquarters. Welcome. Yay!
Good morning, but OG means what?
Old guy.
Man.
We're going to go with that one.
That's just wrong.
You've been a member for almost 30 years. Okay, everybody, get ready because he's been around. I don't know if it's a good thing and a bad thing. We all know Frank. However, he's going to give us some great information today about the chamber, how to grow a business, why he even chose his journey, and we're going to navigate through all of that. Tell me. Okay, this is a loaded question. What a way to open. Who's Frank?
Who is Frank? Frank didn't start doing hair till he was 30 years old. I wanted a profession where didn't have to be responsible for any employees. Just wanted to travel and maybe move to Hawaii, maybe not. Met my wife, never left. I met my wife at beauty school, and from there we've worked at 3 different places in Upland. We've had 2 of our own. One was her dad's. And as for hair and beauty, I'm blessed to be good at what I do. I love people.
I recognize that you've had your own salon. I recognize that you've stayed in the community. But entrepreneurship, it was definitely in your bones.
Yeah.
There's a journey before that. And that's what I want people to hear, because many times I run across people and they say, oh, that successful business owner, et cetera, et cetera. And I tell people, don't believe the Facebook life.
Right.
That's the success story at the end. What happened before? That's what I want people to hear.
When I was younger, I've never had a job where I had a paycheck. Even when I was 15 on up, I worked for people, never worked by the hour, worked by the job. And then I would get 3 of my friends to work and make more money. And I've always been that way. I had a business at 22 to about 28. Did very well, didn't know what I was doing. I had a mobile car wash. I used to do In-N-Out hamburger. I had a lot of work and didn't manage it, but I couldn't handle, at that time, employees I didn't want to deal with. So I always wanted to do hair, but the neighborhood I grew up in, if you were a hairdresser, you were, you know what I mean? And my dad's a barber, so, my dad even asked me, I have a little old Italian dad, and he goes, Frankie, are you all right? And I go, yeah, I'm doing great, Dad. Are you with straight A's? No, are you doing all right? What do you mean, Pop? Then I finally got it out of him. And I said, Dad, please. I go, how many women you work with? He goes, I don't work with any women. He said it a little differently. But no women come. I go, you don't cut any women's hair? I go, and you're asking me if I'm all right? As I got older, I didn't care what anybody thought. But then I went to beauty school. I worked full time, went at night, 5 days a week. I had 12 to 14 hour days for 2 and 3 years. I still have, who am I kidding? But towards the end, I met these 2 girls. They were studying for their state board test. And I approached them and said, hey, do you mind if I watch? And they said, yeah, but I go, where do you guys live? They go, Upland. I go, really? My friend Philip works at a place in Upland called Madrid International. And they both started laughing at me, and I'm like, what's so funny? She goes, well, Philip's my dad, and And Madrid International is my dad's salon. And I go, well, I've been looking for him. And that's how I ended up out here. I went to work for him, didn't get paid, answered phones. I went at 7 in the morning was their first appointments. So I'd show up there till 8:45 and go to work, and then go to work till 4 o'clock. Then from there we'd go to school from 5 to 10. That was my daily. So I drive from San Dimas or Covina out here, drive to work over in Pomona back home to my friend's house in Via Verde, all the way back to Citrus, and then same thing. And then that's where I met Monica. That's my wife. That's the real boss.
You actually worked for free. That's the nugget in this.
Well, yes. Well, when I first got my a cosmetology license, I worked at the salon, but I also on Sundays I cleaned cars still. I had 10 clients, and then on Mondays I tinted windows and ran a shop for my friend. So I worked, and then I umpired baseball also at night. So I do high school baseball, some college baseball, little league, which I like doing all the kids. I grew up thinking I was going to be a baseball player. I went pretty far, but once you get to the point where you're done.
You're done.
Yeah, you're done. But if I could do anything besides what I'm doing here, and I had more time, I'd teach kids sports.
That is something that most people, and kids especially, trying to start their own business.
Right.
They don't think about that, and they don't know that there's a hustle, a long time hustle that happens before.
Well, that's a whole nother story. These kids today are all on their...
Yes.
Me, I never mowed my own yard, but I had 4 accounts on my block. I would go to the door because my friends were scared. I'd get the job, and I'd get 2 of my friends to do all the work, and I'd help with it, and we'd all make money. Then we'd go to the movies or whatever.
Entrepreneurship.
I'm talking like I was 8, 9, 10 years old.
This has been in you.
I used to do it at the barber shop. I used to sweep, taking the old, do you remember the little Coke bottles? Remember those? And
what did I say about OG? The old Coke bottle?
Yeah.
Guy?
I don't have
You're
those
dating
yet.
yourself. Way back in the day.
Never back.
You did a lot.
Yeah. And I recovered from, I'm a drug addict. You're never not, when I tell people, they would get out of here. No way. And the other one that kills people is like, oh yeah, I just go to church 4 or 5 times a week. You? I go, what do you, I go, I don't have to go to church to pray, but, I believe, I've been blessed.
You were in drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a lot of bad stuff. You are extremely faithful. And what I know about you, you are a dedicated family man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Everything revolves around the kids and the family.
Yes.
And
none of my own. We never had our own, but we raised some other kids. They lived with us. And, family stuff, for instance, in my business. My dad being a barber, my sisters would come in, like, I just started doing hair, and they're like, come on, Frankie, you can do this, that. Or they're telling you how to do it. Mm-hmm. One of my sisters, I'm cutting her hair in beauty school. I walk away, and she's got the scissors cutting her bangs, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding. I'm so embarrassed. I'm ducking. I'm going, Vicky, what are you doing? At least try to hide.
It was preparing you for all of your clients today.
Oh no, clients today are unbelievable. Education is very important in our field, and continuing education is even more important. But we used to go to educational programs, and I'd be with my wife, my father-in-law, now father-in-law, but at the time he wasn't. He'd be like, we'd be watching somebody teaching, and he'd like pinch my leg. Don't do that. Don't do this. You know what I mean? I learned how to do things precision, color-wise. With the one eye, I'm very creative.
Right.
But it's education and knowing and analyzing. There's, for instance, you doing loans in your business, you can only go by the credit, the job, the money they make, you know what I mean? And that's it. Cut and dry. Me, I get people coming in and, does this not, and I never talk bad about a previous hairdresser, ever. Even though in my head I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what happened to you? You know what I mean? Serious, you don't do that, So consultation's everything, but you got to be able to execute. Somebody tells me something, shows me a picture, I can do it. Or I can say, look, it's going to take 2 times to get there, 3 times if you want to change, if you want to, because I'm considered an old guy.
Yeah.
But now with pictures and nothing changes. There's 2 haircuts. There's layered or straight. Variations of both. Like, for instance, Frank, I want it long but short. Okay. Which do you want long? The bottom, top? You want it long in the front, short in the back? I go, that could mean many different. That could give you Farrah Fawcett back in the day, which is coming back, scaringly. Well, no, it's a great haircut. I shouldn't say that, but they call it the wolf now.
Oh.
A wolf cut. And then there's the butterfly cut everybody does at home. You know what I'm talking about, huh?
What
I know
is the
you.
butterfly
Have you
cut?
ever seen it? They section their hair and I go, oh my! I start shaking. I'm like, I'm gonna have to fix that, And only a few people can get away with those things with certain types of hair. And that's the whole thing, like, there's no more, like the Jennifer Aniston, everybody don't want the same thing. Most people realize what they have is what they look best in, like
right.
Curly hair. I do a lot of curly hair, a lot of it. And,
Thank you.
I saw a guy on, or something on nextdoor.com, our local thing. Mm-hmm. And some dude replied to it. He goes, I've never been so busy. And I was about to reply to it, and I thought, can you take on more people? I can. I'll just do 6 days a week at 14 hours. My business is definitely a hustle. You're on your feet, you're moving, but doing the hair is like this half of it. Answering the phones, cleaning your dishes, sweeping, sanitizing.
I believe your number 1 job is camp counselor.
I thought you were going to say, like, be nice to you.
Well, that, of course, that's a given. And I'm that client. Okay, Frank, what are we doing?
Well,
and then you say, what do you mean? What do you want?
No, we can do this. If I'm doing your hair, and we've done it for a long time, then I can adjust. Everybody's adjustable. But it's like, for instance, some people I've done 25, 30 years. And they'll come in, I want to do this. And I go, remember when we did that last time? You hated it? When did we do that? And I scan through the phone. Look, right here, look. Remember you didn't like that. You know what I mean?
Stop talking about me like that,
No,
Frank.
it's not you. No, everybody. And I do a lot of men's hair cutting. A lot of men. Like Dave, your next interview. I'm not late. I never run. Very rarely. I don't want to say never, but I run on time. Make sure that, you come ready. Don't surprise me when you get there and say, I want highlights today. Nope, I don't have enough time. But my clients get that. And when I do something, if I tell them, I go, look, we're going to try this, but if you don't like it, call me, I can fix it. It's not, I just did that with Sonia. It was too bright, and I thought it'd be too much for her, but it was.
The number 1 skill you have is you have to be an active listener.
Yes, no, and you know what? That's true. I'm very good at listening. For instance, with the chamber, we haven't even talked about that.
Right.
With the chamber and I network, I get people that call me 5 years later, and I go, you were in the red dress at the, you got the dark curly hair, and they, how the hell did you, I go, I don't know. I remember people, and that's my job. It's just like today, I don't even want to say it. You can cut this, but
No, you need to include it.
No,
you had
no,
that
no.
question today.
I don't want that guy to see it, but I want someone to give me his card, give him my card. One of the guys, he comes in his hair. I'm like, dude, did you even look in the mirror? It's like, come on, One of my clients, he's no longer members, but Greg Armstrong used to be the chair. Gary Ray, who owns Massage MB. Both of them, those guys, I said, look, I can help you. I go, please come see me. I go, I can help you. I go, Greg, and we were at a function and Greg's wife was with them and I go, Greg, you got a good neckline, but that's not done right. You know what I mean? I go, you need someone to do it right. So
you're a good listener. You're a counselor.
Yeah.
And you support the community. You offer your services, whether they want it or not.
No. No, and I try to make it funny so it's not too brutally,
I believe I'm going to call you on that one. Stop. Tap out right now. You do not try to make it nice.
Well, with you, no, because I don't have to. I know the ones I don't have to.
When I first met you,
I always said your hair was great. When you're ready to change, call me.
When you're ready to change? I think it was when you're ready for a better cut and you really want to walk around and do whatever you want and I can give you the freedom, then call me.
But that's because I knew you did
subtle,
then.
Maybe a little direct.
No, it's very direct.
And I will say this, I will give you credit.
Well, Terry did that. Terry, when she got her hair done, they don't even let you get in, they see you across the parking lot and they're running at you. And I'm at a function where I want to relax, not, do anything. Frank, come here. Look at this. What do you think? And I go, you should call Larry H. Parker. I go, if someone, I go, you really, I go, if you, but I go, I go, you want my honest opinion or I go, look, it can be fixed, but it's going to take a few times.
This is all coming from the guy who tells me as I'm walking in the door, has it been snowing outside?
Oh, what does that mean?
That's the Frank
I bet she don't
compliment.
Get it. Do you get it? Oh, you do?
He reminds me over and over again.
I said either that or a parade. It's kind of sparkly.
Wow. The first time he said that, I thought,
no,
how do I take this?
I follow that up with, we have spray for that. You can just.
And he did teach me how to paint my hair.
Yeah, just in between. Do
you see the information and the learning if you just spend a few minutes with Frank?
And I'll tell you what, about this chamber, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I've done superbly well over the years. I have people now I've been doing for 25 years plus that I met in the chamber that have moved away. They come from Valencia, Long Beach. One comes from Vegas. They come from all over, but you build relationships and it's really, it's nice, but the beauty of what I do is if somebody called me, they say, Frank, do you know anybody that does podcast stuff and video? I'd say, yeah, I might, and I'd give them the card. Do you know anybody that does loans? They said, yeah, Amy, she's kind of mean though, It'd be like,
wow.
And then it'd be personalities. I set up people with personalities. But at that same thing, I've had many people say, Frank, my friend keeps asking me for your number, and I don't want her, she's a pain in the ass. Excuse me, is that all right?
That's okay.
Because I haven't sworn yet, thank you. It's taken a while. But the thing is they come in, and here's the beauty of it. It's like Amy, if she told me that, she'd say, I don't want to send Mike in. She's too hard to deal with. I don't think you could handle her and blah, blah, blah. And I have to say, well, what makes you think that you're not a pain in the ass? Well, I'm not. And I go, wait, this is what you tell me every time. First you say, Frank, we start out right here. Can you massage?
Calling me out right at this moment.
Will you rub just a little bit, and you do such a good job. All right, And then, do you have coffee? Did you make some of that food today, the pizza? She gets spoiled.
It's a full service salon.
No, I have clients from years ago, and I make like these killer beef ribs. and I happen to have some left over, and Yvonne's her name, and I won't call her whole name, but Yvonne, Frank, do you have any of this? Do you have, we used to have donuts every Saturday, and then it'd be a Diet Coke, coffee, and donuts. I go, you sure you want a little more quickness? I go, you might as well get, the real thing.
But I hope what people are hearing, not only are we having fun when we are getting our hair
I'm a
done.
little off track, but
no,
that's me.
This is exactly, I expected us to have this conversation. Did you hear what he said when he talked about chamber? Number one, your membership, you work your business and you work your membership because you can't participate in every event.
I will tell you what the beauty of the chamber is, or any networking group for that matter, but our chamber is a lot of smaller businesses but the beauty of the chamber is I can pick out that day, I want her over there, her hair, I want to meet her, I want to make sure she knows me well, because I would like to do her hair one day. I only got to get one person out of that whole 100 to make it work for me, but I work it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I do. I always have cards on me. My wife is a seroptimist, so you guys are aware of seroptimist.
Yes.
So we're always doing things to give back. We've cut, in Upland, there's the Foothill Family Shelter, they're members of the chamber. Now, I've cut the hair of the Foothill Family Shelter for 27 years. So when a family comes, they get a free pass for haircuts. What's funny is, or ironic, they don't all call because they think we don't know how to cut hair. Seriously, they don't know. And when they come in, they go, oh, wow. So then they'll go back and tell the other families that haven't used it. But what they have to do is they have to make appointments, show up. If they don't show up, they have to call and cancel. If they don't, I got to call the head, someone at the shelter.
Right.
And let them know. It's all for their own. But I used to do Children's Hope, which is another boys' home. Do you know Children's Hope? Yeah. Mike and second year I was ever doing hair, or not even that, I was out doing this, So I met Mike at a chamber meeting. Mike, he goes, you'll cut it? I go, no, I go, Mike, I'll do it for free. Consider that my donation, because I don't have any money. I didn't have money at that time. But I cut the kids' hair, and I ended up getting a guy from Los Angeles Times. They used to do a little Sunday paper here that come and did a big old article on me because I had a man who had his wife died suddenly, and all of a sudden he's taking care of 3 daughters. So Monica, my wife, and I cut his hair, the kids' hair, and then we helped him with clothes and just helped the guy out. The guy did this big article. Next thing I know, I'm getting all this work. It was crazy. And it was, just for doing the right thing.
And it's all because, just what you said, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Your outreach. You're constantly connecting. Spend an hour, 2 hours, however long you need to take care of your non-gray hair when you're sitting in Frank's. And you're connected. At some way, shape, or form, in that conversation, there are multiple connections being made. People across at another chair, you're connecting.
Oh, yeah.
And you're setting up your next outreach. Between you and Monica, you have your hand involved in the entire community.
Way too many.
Some way, shape, or form. But I think that...
Are you trying to say I'm running a nonprofit because I have no money?
Well, okay. But one of the things that I think is beautiful about the way you work your chamber membership is we don't get the luxury of seeing you at many events because you're doing our hair to go to the events. And you have those long days. So for the young business person who wants to start their own business, they need to hear this. This is the information they need. Number one, we're putting in at his salon 12 and 14 hour a day. You're in multiple community outreach groups.
Right.
And you're using every chance you can while we're present with you or not to connect everybody in the community. So you're saying, oh, you could help so-and-so, you could help so-and-so. And by the way, what do? You've asked me more than once, tell me again about your specialties. You want to know what's going on in our business each time we're sitting with you.
Right.
And I think that that's
Well,
the information people need to know.
Well, the thing is, if I don't know that, I can't pass it on. And here's the thing about running any business, especially mine. Mine's, you have to have a big passion for, hair. Because a lot of people, the problem is there's a lot of people that have that, but they don't have any business sense. We got a bunch of eccentric people. Like right now, if this gets out to people, I am looking for booth renters. I'm looking for people that want to work in a good atmosphere, have your own key, come in and out. But I had a passion, so I went every month to the class. I went every month, and then if somebody was working, like when people would come in when I first started working, I would consult them and I'd go, you know what? You'd be better off to let her do this instead of me. I go, I don't feel comfortable enough yet doing that. And those people ended up back in my chair 2 years later when I said, hey, I'm ready for you,
Right.
But, I wasn't dumb. I didn't let it leave my place. I made sure somebody there took care of them when I watched and learned, I got in trouble once at a class.
No, I can't imagine.
No. I trust me, I got more free stuff than anybody because I'd say, hey, what did we get today? I go, how can I get me some of that for free? You just asked here, Frank. I would get it, but I used to walk around. Our first place was right by Chase Bank up here off the foothill, Monica's dad's place. When I had time, I'd grab a handful of cards and I'd walk to Vons, CVS, all those restaurants, introduce myself, hand out cards. I maybe got one or two people, but I got, who cares?
It's another person.
It's the multiplying of people. I used to do, when I first started, I did pedicures. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I did pedicures, and I used to get, in 1996, I used to get $55 a pedicure. I used to do a half an hour massage, and then I'd do a mask, a scrub.
Are you sure you want to share this with me?
No, I won't do it again. No, I won't have to. But the reason I did that is so I can meet people. I built me a little area, and the body said it was okay.
And Frank has his own way of networking, his own way of connecting, and he keeps a girlfriend on the side.
My girlfriend, I should have brought her. She would have been happy. I have a dog named Girlfriend, so I have a girlfriend and a wife. That's but not in a demeaning way. I've only had one person think of it in a demeaning way. One girl. That's me. You should not call your. I go, look, whatever my dog's name were in the past, I call Girlfriend, let's go. Whatever it could be. I had a dog named Maya, Greenlee. I'd say, come on, Girlfriend, let's go. It was never Amy, let's go. It'd be Girlfriend, let's go. Not emotionally.
I was thinking.
I know you were. I'll rub your ears afterwards. But
wow.
But yes, I have a girlfriend. She comes to work every day. She greets my clients. My clients absolutely adore her. She gets treats every day. Toy. I've never bought her a toy. I bought her one toy.
Part of your networking.
She comes with me. Yeah.
She goes on your walks.
But she's been with me to networking events all over. I take her when we have the outdoor ones
And she just actually visited a senior community
when
you went
for
to Upland Manor.
Upland Manor.
That's right.
And I knew a few of the tenants, or the residents there. Not tenants, residents, I guess. But right when I walked up, they go, Girlfriend, and they called her. They used to go to my old place before we moved. But, I don't know. The chamber, though, I'm supposed to be doing this for you guys, but I'd have to say it's been very, very, when I tell people to join, I go, you got to be active. If you don't go, you can't just sign up and expect. I only do first Fridays and anything else extra that I can. But I show up every first Friday all the time and always have cards with you. I recommend people to join. These kids today with the caterers, I got them to join the chamber. I got Eric Hansen to join years ago. I got a lot of different places. Well, I don't know. I can't remember if Eric I told or not, but I don't want him to receive this. Shut up, you know what I mean? But he was in the chair, and he used to go to another guy where we worked. That's how I met Eric. But the, chamber of people, it's always good to recommend people or ask them, other people that you like to join. I think that we should do a thing where everybody brings somebody new that they do business with that is a member. And we'll grow.
To grow.
Yeah. Well, because we used to do that. But you don't want to lose money, but you pay for their breakfast. You bring somebody, you know what I mean? I think that would be great.
And you golf.
I do golf, if you call it that.
I want to know.
About my golfing?
Yes.
It's horrible but relaxing.
That's your way to decompress.
That's one of my ways, yeah.
Right.
Walking, exercising at 4:30 in the morning to get to work by 8,
And my favorite is?
My cooking.
That's right.
That's another one that's a time consumer. Believe me. Right now, with the little bad heart test, I'm Mediterranean fish, salads, which is good. Everything's good, but cooking to cook good requires good meat or food, first of all, and then little time. Your everyday stuff, you gotta do quick and, easy. As my wife says, the best meal is when she don't have to cook.
When you do it.
Oh, right, but she don't have to cook it. Oh, it's all right, whatever you made's fine.
You spend your Sundays cooking.
Sometimes, not always. Sometimes I spend it sleeping all day because I'm tired.
Your free time, free time that you get, you're golfing, cooking.
Golfing, cooking. I try to do, meal prep and all that, but sometimes nothing gets done. Sometimes you're too tired. The older I get, sometimes I need that whole day to do nothing.
The best part about this is you're the one who just said that you're older.
I am.
Let's talk about what is your vacation. Tell me, because your vacations sound fantastic.
Everybody, I had 4 clients go to Hawaii recently. Somebody went to Greece,
Yay.
But for me to leave more than a week, it's way too hard to make up. It's like when we leave, nothing's done, and there's 2 of us, so we lose that much money. Plus, I can afford to do anything, probably if I wanted to and save, like Europe or whatever. But I'm not going to go for 4 or 5 days. I got to go for 10, 14 days. And that's going to require a few more years probably. But my favorite place to vacation is Laguna Beach. And I get a place on the water, like my dog and I are in the water. I don't move. I don't wear my swim trunks. I almost said don't get dressed for 3 days, but I don't get out of my swim trunks for 4 days. It's relaxing, then all of a sudden I gotta come home. But while I'm there, I do cook. I don't go out to eat. We have a kitchen. I make the best. There's nothing better than watching the sunset and eating on the beach. But, and Lagunas, this year I'm changing. I'm going actually Sunday to see if I'll like the place in Carlsbad I got. They keep raising prices. It's getting ridiculous. It's like, I've been going to the same place for years, and the last 3 years they've raised it over $200 a night. Not for the whole trip, 200 something per night. And I'm like, come on, you guys, seriously? But that's my fault for not buying one. You guys are young. Buy property as much as you can. If I could give any young person advice, it isn't what you make, it's what you keep. And then when you do make it, don't be afraid to take a chance and buy some property. Or, unless you're already with kids, and that's all different. But if you have to buy it out far, kind of look at things and try to see what's good. Because if you own property and somebody rents it, someone's paying your mortgage. So that's like money in your pocket. If I had to do it all over again, oh my gosh, I'd have just enough. I don't need a lot. I'd do just enough. So at my age, I could have started, they're paid for by now or almost paid for. Then it's my money and I can decide whether to sell it and get out of town or whatever it may be. I would say my clients who are the most financially secure, all real estate. A couple of them have big companies they took over for their parents in the past, but for the most part, property ownership and leasing. And then, it's terrible right now because these people don't care what your rent. I can't stand that.
Right. There has been so much we got out of this interview. This is what we get when we sit in Frank's chair.
Some are a little more.
Number one, there's a success story to most entrepreneurs that have been in business as long as they have been someone like you. However, I often say, don't believe the Facebook life because there's a whole lot of the backstory. Hustle, dedication, long hours.
I don't have Facebook.
I know, but I call it Facebook.
All right.
And very little time away when you're working your business.
Right.
Unless you put into place the appropriate infrastructure or are in a business where you can walk away. But in your particular case, it's very, very difficult. So for the young entrepreneur that is thinking about opening up a headquarters,
right,
or getting into your industry, they have to consider these things. They have to consider startup costs. They have to consider the grind. They have to consider walking around with business cards, like you said, on a regular basis. In between your appointments, you were dropping off business cards at your neighbors.
Yeah.
And you worked for free just to get your foot in the door.
Right.
To understand the operation of the business.
Well, I made it when I was there before I even got my license, where when I was gone, everyone was asking where I was. And
Right.
then the other thing I did not say, you need a good mentor. You need someone to in any profession, someone that's going to guide you, not let you make a big mistake. Or I still can't find anybody out of beauty school or anybody that, because they can work and train every day, learn from us. It's so hard to find anybody. And there's two of us at my place, and we're two different styles, but with the same result. You guys know.
That's right.
We are.
We're all dedicated. We all keep coming back, and we're loyal.
And
we support each other. That's the beauty of the way our chamber and our business arrangement works.
I will say in any business, though, you attract who you are. Do you believe that?
Absolutely.
You're either a hard worker, smart aleck, you want to say that right. Somebody tells you like it is, they don't hold things back. My people can't sit in the chair, they want to be done and get out.
What did you just say about me?
That you're great. You're a hard worker, you're limited on time, you want it done right, and you want to get, if everybody, that's what I attract. I attract people that can't sit still and they want to get done and get out. They sit still long enough, you know what I mean?
Right.
We know a couple of those, or people, like they come to you and they want you to do it all. But when you get them to try to get involved there,
Yes.
right? They get all
Right.
scattered and don't. And most of us aren't organized. I'm one for me. I'm not. I got a drawer with a bunch of stuff thrown in there. But you asked me where it's at. I know it's in the bottom left side.
In the mind of Frank.
No, which is scattered.
Well, and you also said, as I'm wrapping this up, just ask.
Oh no,
You
ask
ask-
for anything.
Right.
As for that stuff, it doesn't matter. But my job, you gotta watch it. It's like, I was cutting somebody's hair the other day and I'm like, shit. Or shoot, I'm sorry. Right? I'm all shit. There. What, Frank? You don't do that when you're cutting something. I forgot to shut the garage door. You know what I mean? I go, I'm sorry. I'm just speaking out. What's that called? Tourette's. And I just throw it out, and they're like, Frank, you're cutting my hair. Don't do that.
That's going to be one of the additional items that I wrap up with you.
Okay.
And someone who's doing your hair that has Tourette's. That's not.
No.
Wow.
But I never, the other thing I didn't say that I'm very proud of and that I do a lot of, I cut a lot of special needs people. And a lot of people can't do them, but I can. Just did one last week. It was the cutest thing ever. I mean, she's older, nonverbal. Do you, I don't know, this is, but
okay.
Do you know Dignity Group? You know, but I met this girl at a wedding of my friends, and I got her to dance with me, and she doesn't speak, and she shakes her, and she's like, "Are you sure you got her?" She shakes. I go, "I got it. You know, just bring her in with her washed." And so I go, "I'll wet it." And she had a lot of hair too, but I've done many where the parents start crying. I'm like, "Really? You're gonna make me cry?" I go, "Not here, come on." You know, but I take pride in that. You know, I think it's because I'm a little whack myself, but I do.
I think it's awesome. That's
no, we get, when you were asking about the organizations, you know, Monica's group makes money and they pick different things every year. The ones, Love Them All, Dignity Group are my two, like, favorite. Because it's the kids, it's so much fun. You know, it is. If you ever want to, telling all of you this, if you, it's called a thesis now, but our Old Park or one of those places. The thing is Monica's are optimists. They make money and they usually help the women and children. They've had other cases where they give money. We're always giving baskets, things to the chamber, everybody, but there's a few of them. There's Dignity Group, there's Love Them All. Those two are my favorites. You know, the kids, the special needs, because, you know, they're adults now. The reason why Dignity Group helps people, parents with special needs children, that if something happens to them, the kids are taken care of. Love Them All takes them, lets them play sports, have fun, travel, and they do different things. These organizations, and then we do a lot of others, and someone's gonna put me on blast for forgetting them, I guarantee it. But I act like I really got money. Or at least my wife does. You know, "Oh, babe, did you get us a table?" And she goes, or no, not a table. We go to fundraisers, and I go, "Did you get us a seat?" She goes, "Well, I got the whole table." I go, "What do you mean the whole table?" That's like, all right, just, do I say anything when you do your golf tournaments? So we're always donating money. Like I always tell them, "Man, we're rich," you know. But this is another thing about my clientele. I have the world's best clientele when it comes to fundraising. If I tell people I need stuff, now my wall's huge at my place. Brand new bags from Target, blankets, basketballs, all kinds of things, man. They bring stuff. I don't know. We do it we have one in Ontario we do it with.
Service with a smile, a heart, sense of humor, lots of jabs, but we have a lot of fun.
And it's done right.
And it's an educational experience for sure.
Nope, it's done right.
Yes, it is.
Hair is always number one.
That's correct.
Everything's, as Susie said, Frank talks a lot, blah, blah, blah.
However, it's done right.
Right.
I thank you so much for being here with me today, because every bit of information that you gave definitely is going to be an educational experience for a new entrepreneur. And maybe some others that may not want to hear what you have to say. No, that's a completely different story. So thank you.
Let me just say one last thing. When you're an entrepreneur, it's only because usually you don't want to be told what to do or how to do it. You know, believe me, you need to learn first somewhere, somehow, before you go doing your own thing. You got to be trained. You got to be taught. You got to be, you know. And then if you're going to have a business and be an entrepreneur, make sure you're working from the get-go on buying your own building to run your business out of. It's my only advice. The only thing I did wrong was never bought my own building.
Done. And that's a wrap.
Oh,
Thank you so much.